Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check release from ICM. It is modeled in 1/24 scale and it copies Type AG 1910 Paris taxi. So you can see it on the box art, and I guess it's not difficult to guess which exactly car manufacturer it is replicating. Nevertheless, I leave it to you, write it in the comment section below. Here we have the commercial sample, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you will see in this video review, and we are going to open it and take a look inside. So first of all, box size is typical for this manufacturer. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Then on the side of the box we have some information about the real subject and also information about the kit. As far as I can see, there are 108 parts and length of the assembled model will be equal to 155 millimeters, which is not that huge for 1/24 scale kit. And here you can see profiles for the same marking option, let's say, as on the box art. As for the box structure, it is typical for ICM. We have this color printed top lid, and then we have sturdy white cardboard box, which should protect everything inside. Let's open it. And here is what we have inside. So all plastic frames are packed into the same plastic bag. On the bottom we have assembly manual, and of course there will be also decals inside. But first I would like to start with plastic parts. So we are going to open this plastic bag. This is a resealable plastic bag, so you can use it later. And let's remove these plastic sprues. So we can start with the biggest frame here in this kit. As you can see, it is dedicated to mix of various parts. So let's zoom in a bit, and we also open the camera so that you can see more. So here we have the main chassis bars, which are molded together with spring bars. I'm a bit confused because I'm trying to understand why we have these two parts here. I guess they will be installed in the front. Next we continue with steering wheel. Here some of the engine parts. We have separate one-piece cowling or bonnet, and that's really cool because you won't have any seams in such notable area, and it should be easier to assemble such designs, so that's a definitely bonus point. But be careful with these thin parts because it will be a bit tricky to separate them. They tend to break easily, so just take your time, do not hurry with them, and you will be completely fine. Next we go on with another plastic frame. This one is, just give me a second. So here we have the wheel rims. These are molded out of plastic, obviously, and as you can see they are molded as one-piece parts, so basically you can just paint them and install into the vinyl tires. And I mean, there is no surprise in this. Vinyl tires are included here because this is a typical feature for the car kits from ICM. Next we go on with separate plastic bag with clear elements, so just give me a second. Here we have the transparent sprue, so it was packed like this in order to avoid any possible scratches. And as you can see, molding quality is really gorgeous. I mean, I don't see any possible issue here. The only thing you have to have is the mask sheet, because otherwise it will be really tricky to get all these parts painted in a, let's say, precise fashion. Next we go on with slightly bigger. Actually, this is not a bigger sprue because here we have parts for the cab version, so I'm going to show them just like this in the zoomed video. And note that this roof panel, it is molded as a one-piece element, which is really cool. Here you can see what we have inside. Well, actually, not that much. Next we continue with vinyl tires. So they're given in the separate plastic bag. I will show you only one because these are absolutely identical plastic parts, actually vinyl parts. So we have the really shallow tire pattern here, but it's not that deep, so be careful and do not apply a lot of paint on this area. On the side we do not have any writings, so it's fine part for the out-of-the-box build. But I mean, in case you are fine, I am also fine. This is a vinyl part, so it's a typical stuff for the vinyl products. Next we go on with parts or panels for the rear cap section. So as you can see, it should be glued out of separate pieces. Here we have also seat, which is molded as a one-piece element. And let's flip it over. Inside we have really not that much of detailing, so I would recommend to play with painting techniques in order to achieve a bit more out of those parts. And last but not the least is this plastic sprue. So here we get the radiator grill, we also get the side, these are wheel arches, and also the leg rest here. Also we go on with bonnet panels, doors which are molded separately, and if we flip it over, here inside you can see some of the guiding elements which will be helpful for the proper alignment of those parts between each other. Next we go on with assembly manual. Nevertheless, ICM packs decals in assembly manuals, so just give me a second. Here they are. So decals look completely fine. I mean, I don't see any possible issue here. As you can see, printing quality is good. And application is also easy. As far as I remember, I did not have any problem with ICM decals. So it's just a matter of careful application and you will be fine. As for the assembly manual here, as you can see, it is a typical ICM brochure which is printed in color. We have short history note in Russian and English. We also have here the technical specifications and some safety advices, so in case you don't know what to do with model. Next we continue with parts map, and parts map is quite simple. I'm a bit surprised that all parts will be used. As you can see, there are none which are marked as not used. Assembly process starts with main chassis. Here you have to be careful because you are combining several bars together, and then straight away you are installing this large panel which we saw on the last frame. Next we continue with minor elements which will be supporting this frame. From both sides you will have to install it. Next you assemble the engine. And in case you would like to display the engine, let's not forget that the bonnet one-piece part should be handy for this purpose. Just do not glue it into the place. It will be easily removable, and of course you will be able to expose the engine under it. Here we continue with installation of all this stuff on the frame. Next we install the that's actually the front wall of the cockpit, that's not the radiator grill. Then we assemble the rear, let's say, box section, which is glued out of separate panels. So be careful again with alignment. As far as I remember, there were some guiding elements, so it should be relatively easy to align them together and get the right silhouette. Next we continue with installation of more panels between each other. So in the front section we will install the leg rest for the driver, then we install the backrest for the driver, and of course the one piece, let's say, sofa seat into the passenger section. That's really funny that this part was decided as a one-piece element. Really interesting to see such design nowadays, because before those parts were assembled out of several pieces. Next we continue with roof. As you can see, it is also glued out of several parts. Here we also use the clear parts, so don't forget to mask it in order to get the decent paint work. Next you assemble doors, so that is achieved by joining two parts together, and each door will be installed from each side. It can be opened, I think, even though here in assembly manual manufacturer does not show such possibility. I mean, that's not difficult to do with your own hands. Next we install seat for the driver, and then whole subassembly goes onto the main frame. But that's not all, because we continue with exhaust. Then here we install the side railings, and here you can see this one piece front cowling. So I do not recommend to glue it into the place, because this way you'll be able to easily remove it and display the engine. Next we continue with installation of the engine guard from the bottom. Here we install the front wheel axle. Next is the rear wheel axle. Then we assemble wheels, obviously. Here are some control elements which will be installed into the driver's compartment. And as you can see, they will be visible from outside, so I recommend to spend some time weathering them. Here is the spare view. Next we have separate roof for the driver's section, and last steps feature the various lights which will be installed on this vehicle. So in total you have to perform 56 steps, which is quite impressive. And here on the last page we have only one marking option, but of course nobody stops you from choosing something different in case you have some reference photos or reference material for such idea. As I said before, this kit should be already available on official ModeliMax webshop, so if you would like to get it ASAP, just go there and order it. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!